New at 9, universities of Wisconsin regents have decided to vote again on a deal that calls for reducing diversity positions in exchange for funding for employee raises and campus construction projects. State Republicans reached a deal with UW System President Jay Rothman last week, but the UW Board of Regents rejected it at a meeting over the weekend. Regents held a closed video conference today and later announced they have scheduled an open meeting for tomorrow afternoon to vote again on the proposal. The agenda indicates Regent Amy Blumenfeld, who voted against the deal on Saturday, may now flip her vote in favor of adopting it. Following the announcement, Governor Tony Evers released a statement saying, quote, "The Board of Regents should be able to make decisions about what's best for our students, faculty, staff, and ultimately what's best for the University of Wisconsin's system without fear of threats and political pressure or retribution. I support the Regents' decision on Saturday because I believed it was made consistent with this expectation, their values, and their charge."